Welcome to yet another round of the Touring Car Challenge. This is probably going to be one of the nicest races you're going to see for a long time. Round number 4 of the Touring Car Challenge for 2022 season. And well, the season's going to be a pretty short one. We've got some big names in South African motorsport that's going to be coming on board for the season number 2. And that's going to be starting during the course of 2022, in fact. Joining me, Mike side, as usual, the voice of Western Province Motorsport, Frankie Ernest. Frankie, good day to you.
Good day, Gary. Good day, everybody else at home. Yes, we're at Okayama International Circuit in Japan. The track is just over 3.6 kilometers long. We are 266 meters above sea level. Outside temperature 24 degrees, partly cloudy. And the wind about 12 kilometers an hour, and not too much to worry about with round 4 of the Touring Car Racing Challenge.
Well, it's going to be a 10-minute qualifier, which will give everybody pretty much one warm-up lap. Then we'll go on to the flying lap, and then thereafter it will be 2 opportunities to get around the track as quick as you possibly can. I must say, it's a track I've had an opportunity to ride quite a bit on. It's a very popular track for the Mazda MX-5s, and I think it's one that a lot of these drivers have already had an opportunity to race on. The man out there on track at the moment, Jaco Steyn, the man that put it all together, and Jaco is one of the first people out for the qualifying session.
Yeah, big thanks there to Jaco Steyn. He's the brainchild behind the Touring Car Challenge. And a big thanks to everybody that's involved with the putting together of the Touring Car Challenge. Not only just Jaco Steyn, but a Second Gear Production, Second Gear Talk Show, and everybody else that Jaco has got involved as well. So Jaco is the first man out there of the 10-minute qualifying stint. And then after that, we will get to the 30-minute race. Next man on track is Robbie Teings. Out there, Robbie Teings in the Denso colored car, out there making his way on his qualifying session.
Sportman also out there as well. Not a well-known name to us in iRacing, but a man that acquits himself pretty decently. And the next man up, well, he needs no introduction whatsoever.
Yeah, that is Yuri Swart, the young man that races at Okayama International Raceway, and is also part of the SA National Polar Cup Championship as well. Also very established karter back in the day is a young Yuri Swart Jr. There's Byron Mitchell, another young man out there that used to take part in karting at the Western Province karting section, and is now very well established in the single-seater Formula Libre category at Killarney in Class S. There's Julian Familiaris, a man that races in the Mobile One SA V8 Supercar Championship, and also a man that knows his way around any racetrack.
Another man that done very well in the last race that we watched, Sandro Bakari, pretty much top 5 in the Western Province Sports and GT Masters Series. Also out there is Clinton Bezuidenhout, the man that we were lucky to have an opportunity to watch at Killarney International Raceway pretty recently when he was out there on track. Nice to see the ex-South African Polar Cup champion back out there again, Dario Busi.
Well, he's the defending Polar Cup champion, the man that's not defending his title this year, and also a young man that's done very well in karting, and also in GTI Challenge Classes A and also in Classes C out there. And currently Dario is in 14th position, but there's Herman Lazarus. He's done a 139.281 so far in the cheapercars.co.za man himself, and he is out there so far in that 16th position.
Atinagel, wow, he's been quite a revelation recently, no doubt about it. Finds himself quite a long way down at the moment now, down in 17th position with Sandro Bakari just in there behind him. But one of the McCarthy clan from Sujin Properties out there as well, the young Carl McCarthy.
Yes, Carl McCarthy, and he finds himself currently in that 13th position with a 1:39.052. Well, I'm looking up the leaderboard. John Weiss was once upon a time the man that was out there in pole with a 1:38.165. He's been dumped all the way down to a 3rd position And 137.687 is the new provisional pole, and that goes to Umpi Swart, with just behind him on a 137.688 is Julian Familiaris.
Yeah, Julian Familiaris right in there as well. In fact, Julian just goes to the top. Julian goes to the top of the log. Can you believe it? And Umpi Swart bombs him straight away and gets back up there. So at the moment, with 5 minutes 42 gone, it's Umpi Swart and Julian Familiaris. Byron Mitchell, he's given us lots and lots of entertainment down at Killarney International Raceway. He finishes off his 2 laps that he had. There's Jonty Weiss. He's also finished his 2 laps. Werner Swart, now that's somebody that we don't know much about, frankly, but he finds himself inside of the top 10.
Yes, he's out there in the Hyundai. He's Werner Swart in the top 10 with a 138.596. That's his personal best. And man, it's going to be awesome. So Jonty Weiss, well, a young man that's been racing in the Formula Libre category a couple of years ago, and he raced out there in Class C. So he's no stranger to sim racing and to real-time racing as Jonty. He's there in that 4th position. But Willem Botha in P14, 138.909, and he would have fancied his chances to be a lot higher up. Clinton Besaidnout busy making his way around the circuit. He's trying to put up a time as well. Clinton is not there at this point in time in that top 18.
No, he hasn't managed to put up a clean lap so far, but here he comes across the start-finish line and going down towards the first corner. Let's see what can Clinton Besaidnout do. That's a pretty decent time. That 9th place overall for Clinton Besaidnout, and I do believe that was his first lap that he's out there. So the Davidson's brothers, that is his main circuit and national racing backers, sponsors, supporters, guiders. They do everything for Clinton Besaidnout. And it's so nice that he's carried that through to his iRacing career. And this is, to me, just a tribute to the Davidson's brothers, saying, thank you. Let me put your livery on my Audi in the Touring Car Series round number 4.
I see Nathan Victor popped up there in that 12th position with a 138.766. He wasn't on the leaderboard early on, and he is now there just out of that top 10. He's there in P12. He's Nathan Victor with a 138.766. So the guys are beginning to climb up the leaderboard. There is Willem. Well, he's dropped down to 14th now with a 138.909. Sandro Bakari's taken that 14th position away from Willem as he's dropped down to 15th. Sandro with a 138.832.
As we said, Clinton Besaidnout, one of the last guys to come out on circuit, maybe was just held up a little bit with putting the kids to bed and getting everything sorted out before he gets back into the man cave. Can he go higher up? He's in 9th position. He comes across the line.
Nope.
Oh, yes, he does. Wow. Clinton Besaidnout, Davidson's brothers, up into that 5th position. He's one of the last people out on circuit. Still only one more that is still out there, and that is Willem Botha. We are on 8 minutes 58. So Willem Botha will probably, in the Red Bull 76 car, be able to get around the track just once more with that Hyundai. Nice to see the Hyundai N Series being one of the vehicles that is being used for the Touring Car Championships. But knowing the track pretty well, I somehow don't think he's going to have time to complete this lap. It's still a long, long way around. He'll work his way through there. Now he's got to go through that right-hander, a bit of an uphill climb, and then he's got a long straight. There's still a long, long way to go towards the end of the lap, and I don't... Oh, there he goes. That's the second last corner. That is the last corner. Will he be able to make it? You can see it's a long, long way up where the line is. You'll see there's a line that right at the beginning of the straight, and a line right where he is now. That is where the spot is. And Willem Botha not managing to go any quicker whatsoever. 9 minutes 57 of the allotted 10 minutes, and that is everybody's chance that's gone. Computer says thanks very much. Look at that. We open up the pit lane, and it's going to be an opportunity now. Let's have a look at that grid. Front row, Wow, it doesn't get any better. Prix and the Julian Familiaris up front.
Now, that second row is Byron Mitchell and Jonty Weiss. In the third row, Clinton Besaidnout and Nathim Samanga. Fourth row, Jason Kutsia and Jaco Steyn. And the fifth row, Werner Swart and Robbie Teams.
We must do some homework on this Werner Swart. He's definitely not slow whatsoever. Nice to see Herman Lazarus out there once again with a cheapercars.com vehicle. Nathan Victor, GTI Challenge racer from Killarney International, from Willem Pinaar, Sandra Bakari, Willem Botha, Carl McCarthy, and then Ines Botha and Atinachel coming off the tail end of the field.
Right, so the lights have gone off, and away we go with this one. As they're all over the place, and that is Besaidnout. That's Clinton Besaidnout that got shunted off the circuit there, and he will drop down right towards the tail end of the field. Not exactly what Clinton Besaidnout needed. He finds himself right at the tail end of the field as the field squeak away. But it's all about Byron Mitchell at this point in time. There's a lovely fight there between Jonty Weiss and Jason Kutsia for that second and third position. 0.2 of a second between Kutsia and Weiss. As a matter of fact, there's nothing separating P2 all the way down to P15. They're all over each other as they make their way under that bridge and down that long straight.
Well, down the long straight they go. This is going to be pretty interesting stuff into what's called first corner. Then they will take that left-hander, that is Williams, and then going up to Moss. That's a bit of a downhill, and then taking that double left-hander, going slightly uphill, and then a sharp left-right complex that they go into. That mid-pack fighting it out. Oh, they're so close to one another. Nati and Samangi, National Polar Cup racer right in there. Everybody's making it through. So far, so good. But look who's made it to the front. It's Byron Mitchell. Byron Mitchell going through the last corner and out into the front main.
Well. Byron Mitchell surprisingly all of a sudden puts that motor car up there in P1, disappearing down the road from Jonty Weiss in that second position, followed there by Jason Kutsia, Julian Familiaris, Nathan Victor, Nathan Samanga. They're all in there. There is nothing separating these guys. Byron Mitchell, a 144.928. He's the quickest man out there. Everybody else doing personal bests all the way down to Jaco Steyn. As a matter of fact, all the way down to Willem Pinaar. So the guys are really on song as we watch Byron Mitchell. Now he wants to pull the pin on all of these guys. He's got a 2.3 second lead so far there on Jonty Weiss.
Nothing much between Jason Kutsia and Julian Familiaris that started on the front row of the grid as they work their way up onto that long main straight, and away they go. Now they're going to be going slightly downhill. That's a very tight right-hander that turns all the way back on you. You go right through the gearbox. You need to line it up very neatly because you go over a little bit of a blind rise, then it's a tight left, then once again a tight left thereafter. Now there we go, around the second part of the tight left. You've got to use all that curbstone on the right-hand side through underneath the bridge. Now you're going to go up towards the left-hand side. Look at that, already trying to close off the line was Jonty Weiss in the 77 car. Now it's that tight right-hander, and that's going to take you up the hill, a little bit of a climb. You have to stay flat on the gas through there and use the curbstone on the inside, use the curbstone on the outside, feather the gas lightly and turn it in nice and smoothly to hold as much pace as you can going out into the front main. Julian Familiaris is on the move.
Yeah, Mitchell 3.4 and a personal best, and also the fastest lap out there for Byron Mitchell, 137.842. Jonty Weiss 3.2 seconds behind him in that second position. Then Julian Familiaris there in third. Familiaris has got Jason Kutsia right there with him. There's nothing between Familiaris and Kutsia. As a matter of fact, Jason Kutsia is right there on Julian's back bumper. There's a 1/10 of a second separating Familiaris from Kutsia. Into that right-hander, Julian looks into that rearview mirror. He in turn is only 0.8 of a second behind Jonty Weiss, but you can't worry too much about Jonty Weiss right now. He needs to keep that man, the Iron Man, Jason Kutsia, in there behind him. And 0.2 of a second is absolutely nothing between Familiaris and Kutsia.
I must say, lovely bodywork on the front of that Audi, looking very, very nice. Closing off that right-hand corner now into the left-hander they will go. You got to use that curbstone. You've got to run it right towards the outside. Now make it one long sweeping curve. It's very difficult not to go too wide on the exit of that corner. Now that long climb and not closing off that inside line. So he's obviously feeling pretty confident. Got to get straight towards the outside of the circuit as he does, and move it right across towards the inside of the circuit. Now that short climb that they're going to be going up, and then you take that long right-hander that takes you back out into the back main. Now it's so important to get that drive through that last right-hander, because that's what carries the pace all the way to the front. And talking about to the front, Byron Mitchell up, dust, and disappear.
But we might have a change for second position. Jason Kutsia, Jonty Vice and Familiaris. And I think it might just be Familiaris. Somebody just came out the pits and rejoined just ahead there of Familiaris. That blue car that you see that moves right out the way, that is a back marker that came out the pits, and he came out at exactly the wrong time. And he caught a combination of Familiaris, Vice and Kutsia, and just kept right out the way and said, listen, you guys, I'm not in the fight with this one. As a matter of fact, I think it could be Willem Botha that
yes,
came out the pits, because he was in there for a heck of a long time, and he is out there in 18th position. And it was indeed Willem Botha that made his way back out onto the circuit.
It was Willem that came back out onto the circuit, going back to that battle. Let's go on board with Jason Kutsia, sitting so tight with the cockpit.
Yeah, Jason Kutsia out there in P4, 5/10 of a second behind Jonty Vice. That's that Mobile One car that you see in front of Jason Kutsia. That is Jonty Vice. He in turn is crawling all over the back end there of Julian Familiaris as they make their way around this Okinawa circuit. There is nothing between these guys. As a matter of fact, that is the fight for second, third, and fourth position. Familiaris, Vice, and Kutsia. And Kutsia is 2.8 seconds ahead there of Natim Samanga. But yeah, that is Kutsia. He's got a bit of a safety zone between himself and Nati that sits out there in P5. And a fastest lap once again by Byron Mitchell, a 1:37.687.
That man is cooking well. Let's talk about the different corners we've got here. Whoever did the naming of the corners was kind of original. The turn number 1 is called first corner. The second one is called Williams corner. That's where they're going through now. That's the Moss S's that they're going through and going up towards Atwood Curve. Now there you've got to get hard on the brakes, very hard on the brakes. Turn it in, you'll see the grass is worn away quite a bit on the inside of the circuit. It's got that blind rise where you go through underneath the bridge as such, and that is actually the longest straight is that straight that you're looking at now, being on board with Jason Kutsia just in there behind Jonty Vice, down towards Hairpin Corner. Well, isn't that an original name, Hairpin Corner? And then into Revolver. Well, it's the shape of a revolver. It's a left-hander. Use all the curbstone and the gravel. Use it to the best of your ability. Climb that curbstone on the outside. Now there's that long run, and you just run out of levers. There you can see the shift light actually came on, and he decided not to use it. It's very difficult to decide whether to use the shifter as you get into that corner, and then gear down to help you with the brakes. Coming towards the second last corner, and that's where the pit entrance is. You go right towards the outside, and then the well-named last corner for Jason Kutsia.
And then they're down the main straight into, guess what? First corner, down the main straight they go. Jason Kutsia sitting out there in that fourth position. Here comes Nathan Samanga. Nathan Samanga's got Nathan Victor, Vanna Swart, Dario Busi, Judy Swart, Clinton Besaidnout, Sandro Bakari, and Herman Lazarus right in there. It is a massive fight there for that fifth position. There's a bit of a gap, though, between Nathan Victor and Vanna Zwart, but really not much. With Yuri Umpi Swart sitting out there in that eighth position as we ride with Herman Lazarus has just climbed up there. Yuri Swart has dropped down to 13th. Yuri Swart was in 8th position, and Yuri Swart is dropping down that leaderboard like a fly that's been smacked by a fly swatter and falling off a wall. He's got some serious problems out there, is Yuri Swart.
Well, in fact, it was Dario Busi that was involved with an accident as well. You can see that's Umpi on the outside, the 9 car. Oh, it was Dario Busi and Umpi Swart. That's where it actually happened. Can you believe it? Two of the big names that got taken out of that one. Let's have a different view of that. Let's have a look at the Umpi Swart crash as such. There's Umpi Swart on the outside, it's Dario Bussi on the inside, and they both go for that same. Oh, it was Umpi that actually lost the tail, then came across the front of Dario, spun himself right around. Oh, that right hand front wheel's broken. That car is broken. Umpi Swart is in a world of pain. That's not where he wants to be right now. So Umpi Swart, this is going to be one of those times that he's not going to get the type of result that he wants. Let's go back to the front end of the field. Byron Mitchell. We often use that saying in motorsport, up dusting and disappearing, but this is ridiculous. This man's just in a class of his own. Byron Mitchell running away almost 5 seconds ahead at the front end of the field. And behind that, using the tractor more, Julian Familiaris. It's Weiss that's in there behind him. They'll just clip that curbstone. Now it's going to be hard on the brakes. Go down a gear. Let's have a look at that dashboard on that motor car, and we can see the gear ranges that he's got. So down to third gear, takes that climb, and off down that long straight he goes. And well, there's no name to this straight at all. It's probably just called scary because it's a very scary long straight. Into the hairpin they're going to go now, hard on the brakes, down through the gears, down into second gear, bring it across to the right hand side of the circuit, clip the curbstones on the inside, run towards the outside, stay on the outside, use that curbstone on the inner, run it right towards the outside, keep the hammer down all the way. Now sitting in third gear, do you hold on to that third gear? No, he goes up to fourth. So it's Julian Familiaris that's actually decided it's quicker to actually go up to fourth gear in that specific situation. Jonty Weiss is right in there behind him. Look at that. Jonty Weiss having a brilliant race. But there's another battle a little bit further down, and the man that we had that quite a bit of footage on recently, Herman Lazarus, in his favorite blue colors, cheapercars.co.za, and he's right in there behind the man that put this whole series together as Gary, I'm going to do a test run to see how much interest there is in this, and the reveal for the series sponsor, which is going to be starting in 2 months from now. They're only going to be having 4 or 5 races in this class, and then there will be a whole new startup with a massive name, and I'm talking about one of the best known names in big corporate companies in South Africa coming on board to take this touring car series through the second half of 2022.
Well, that fight we're looking at there, that is, of course, Herman Lazarus all over the back of Jaco Steyn, and they are right on the case of Sandu Bakari. So that indeed is the fight for 9th position. Sandu currently out there in 9th place. He's only 0.4 of a second ahead of Jaco Steyn, and Jaco's lost that position to Herman Lazarus. Well, according to the leaderboard he has, but I'm seeing on track, it looks like he has, because Herman is there in 10th position, and I think he's been rubbed. Yes, Jaco went high, Jaco went wide, he clipped the dirt, and he gave that position on a silver platter there to Herman Lazarus. That is now right on the case there of Sandu Bakari.
Very, very close. Werner Swart starting to make moves as well. He's already in that 8th position. He's up behind the Davidson's brother car of Clinton Bezuidenhout, almost rubbing the back bumper there of Clinton Bezuidenhout. Third last corner on the circuit as they work their way up the Mike Knight corner. And now to be that blind rise when they do their pit stops, you'll see there's the pit lane on the right hand side. You've got to time this one very neatly, get on the gas very quickly, because this is the second longest. It's the main straight, but it's the second longest straight that there is on the circuit. Let's go back to Herman Lazarus.
Yeah, Herman Lazarus sitting there in that 11th position. He's 0.7 of a second behind Jaco Steyn. So Jaco Steyn has taken that 10th place back again from Herman Lazarus. And now Jaco Steyn is crowding the back end there of the Sandu Bakari car. So Jaco and Herman have been chopping and changing that 10th position. Jaco putting the wheels on the dirt and the dust there. He's trying as hard as he can to keep Lazarus in there behind him. But let's not forget about that man in P12, Ines Botma. Botma's right in that fight as well. It's a heck of a fight going out there between Bakari, Steyn, Lazarus and Botma. And they are fighting it out there for that 9th position, with a Steyn all over the back there of Bakari, Lazarus all over the back of Steyn, and Botma all over the back end there of Lazarus.
6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, Does he go further down than that? Holds that third gear now. Dive towards the outside. Clip that curbstone on the inside. Ride right towards the outside. Use everything you've got, the gravel and more. Turn in rather late to make sure you got a late apex. Up the hill you go. And this is a very difficult place to pass, but it's a good place to be able to make up time. And if you run late into that corner, it affects you very badly with the two right-handers that follow there after. Ines Botma, not a well-known name to us in iRacing, works his way through that right-hander. Flat foot, you've got to go through there, lift off in that fourth gear, down to third, and get the hammer down, and he's right in there behind Lazarus. Lazarus will be very aware of this man in behind him, and the problem for him is called Ines Botma.
Yeah, right now Herman must keep Ines behind him, and in doing so, we can't really afford to attack Jaco Steyn. He's 8/10 of a second behind Jaco Steyn, who in turn is 7/10 of a second behind Sandu Bakar. Let's have a look at the replay here. Jason Kutsia exceeding track limits there on the grass, and furthermore Jason seems to be okay. He just lost the circuit there for a short period of time, and once again nearly exceeding track limits there. He was on that white and red rumble strip and just missed the concrete wall on his right hand side.
So we had a problem for Umpi Swart as well. Let's see if we can pick up that incident of Umpi Swart.
Going very slow
running.
Honda.
Remember, we saw that previous accident of his, and he actually jumped back to the pits directly thereafter. So yeah, there you can see that's where he jumped back to the pits. So it just did not work for him. Let's go back to the man up front. Well, there's no action out there for him as he goes out into the front, mate. But you cannot deny Byron Mitchell on a flyer. Julian Familiaris, he was right on the outside of the circuit. John T. Weiss, that's going to be coming through there behind him. They're getting away from the Iron Man. Jason being closed down from a man that he races on main circuit with, Nati and Samangi, National Polo Cup racer. Nati, what a lovely fellow. If you've ever had a chance to have a chat with him, utterly brilliant guy to have a chat with. As Clinton Zaidnote has a look up on the inside line. Clinton Zaidnote, can he make that one stick? I think he's going to. Yes, he does. He moves up on Vanna Swartz, does Clinton Zaidnote. And, well, that was a lovely drive there by him, I must say. Dario Bussi, what has happened to Dario Bussi?
I remember Dario Bussi was involved in that situation between himself and Umpi Swart. And Umpi lost the tail end and took out Dario. So that was an unfortunate incident there between the two of them. That's why Dario finds himself all the way down in that 17th position. And he's actually gone a lap down there to Clinton Besaidenout. And Besaidenout is having this lovely fight there with Nathan Victor. And he rubs the back of him. He rubs the back of Nathan Victor. Victor goes wide, and Victor loses that position there to Besaidenout. And once again, Dario Bussi in the wars, and involved there with him this time was Nathan Victor.
Yeah, Nathan Victor, in fact, going off track with that one. There you can see as they made contact and just turned him right. In fact, turned both of them around as they went through that right-hand hairpin. Then the left-hander. Oh, look at that. It's Herman Lazarus that's gone through there already, and that explains why he's dropped down so many positions. Willem Botha has also had a little bit of an off. Let's see what happened to Willem Botha in the 76 car. Well, he just had to make space. Look out, Sonny, I am coming through. And Willem Botha gets past there by, I think it was Nathan Victor, in fact, that went past him. But well, we don't know what the petrol situation is going to be for these guys as we go on board with Julian Familiaris. He's got 4.6 seconds between himself and the lead car. Can he even see it as he comes up over the rise? Well, there, down there in the distance, going down towards the hairpin corner, he sees the man that's leading this race. There he is. That's the leader. That's Byron Mitchell. Julian Familiaris in that second position. That's about as close as he can get at this stage of the fight, can Julian Familiaris, and I think he's really going to battle. Byron Mitchell just looks to be in a class of his own. Third position there, John T. Weiss. John T's only 2 seconds off Julian Familiaris, but Jason could see the Iron Man not that far off, but I think Jason's more going to concentrate on Nati and Samangi, because Nati's been putting up some very, very good lap times, and I think Nati's putting a lot of pressure on the Ironman, Jason Kutsia.
Yeah, so watch out there for Natim Samanga. He's all over the back of Kutsia. Kutsia's 0.5 of a second behind Jonty Weiss, and he cannot worry about the man that's in third place at this point in time. He's too far behind him. He has to worry about Natim Samanga, that is there in that 5th position. And once again, there's a lovely fight still going on there for P8. We'll get to that one. But Werner Swart and then Sandro Bakari and Jaco Steyn, Herman Lazarus, Botma, we'll get to that one a bit later on, as Natin Samanga is all over the back there of Jason Kutsia. Then a 138.7 and a 138.5. So Natin in the last lap was a touch quicker there than what Jason Kutsia was.
He's making it walk and he's making it talk. He's talking the talk and he's walking the walk. There's no doubt about it. Nati and Samangi saying to Jason, you might beat me on main circuit, buddy, but this is iRacing. This is a different world. Let's have a one-on-one. Both of them in similar make motorcars. Both of them out there in the Audis with the 18-inch slicks on there. And look at that. Jason Kutsia starting to weave side to side, trying to break that toe as they work their way down towards the hairpin.
Yep, it's a lovely fight out there. Samanga says, I wanted inside line, but he's not close enough there to Jason Kutsia. Kutsia holding the line out of that hairpin. Samanga in the DSR-sponsored Audi right there on his case, chasing down the Durant Motorsport man. It's a lovely, lovely fight there between Nati, that sits there in P5, and Jason, that's in P4. Look at Clinton Besaidnout. He's 5.4 seconds behind them in P6. You just saw him come out of that left-hander, not too far behind these two. But Nati is still all over the back of Jason Kutsia, and that is that fight out there for that 4th position.
Well, when Clinton's out on circuit with the National Polo Cup Series, he'll be saying, Samangi, go away. I want to get your place. Now he'll be saying, Samangi, go fetch the Iron Man. Slow him down. Look at that. Jason's feeling the pressure. He's starting to weave from side to side. He is definitely, he'll have the necessary livery on his screen showing him that Nati. What a beautiful color scheme, that DSR car with the black and then with the beautiful silver on there. They're coming up behind a back marker, and who is that? In fact, it's Nathan Victor. Nathan Victor in the 15th position. That's a young man that rides GTI Challenge that they're coming up behind.
Yeah, Nathan Victor, that's now obviously a lap behind because he was in that situation a bit early on, and they are busy catching him. He's going to have to keep just right out the way there.
Will he give way?
Yeah, well, he has got to give away. He's a lap down, and look who's coming in there behind them. That is Clinton Besaidnout. He's 5.1 seconds in there behind Kutsia and Samanga. Nati rubbing up the back bumper there of Jason Kutsia, saying to him, come on, bud, get going, get going. I need to get your position or keep on moving because Clinton Besaidnout is coming. He's 5.1, 5.2 seconds behind the two of them, and if they bog each other down like this, then Besaidnout certainly will catch the combination of Kutsia and Samanga.
Another massive battle. Sandro Bakari obviously getting, what a word. Getting.
Word of the day, gotting.
Oh, that's my word of the day. Sandro Bakari getting very, very. Oh, he makes contact with Jaco. And it's Sandro and Werner that made contact there. So Jaco, that's right in there as well. And the two of them, Sandro Bakari and Jaco Steyn, making slight contact. And while the two of them actually looking after one another's interests and making sure that neither of them go off. Frankie, in terms of fuel, not too sure, to be very honest, what the fuel loads and the possibilities of pit stops is going to be. I don't think there is. We're 23 and a half minutes into a 30-minute race. It's almost all over, bar the shouting. So I don't believe that pit stops are going to come into this one whatsoever. Let's have a run from the top of the field down, starting with that man. And I say it again, it sounds so good. Up, dust, disappear. Byron /Mitchell is cleaning up here today in the touring car race.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any pit stops out. It's only 30 minutes and he is way down the road ahead. There are Familiaris. That's in that second position. 4.7 seconds ahead of Familiaris. However, only 3.8 seconds behind Julian. is that man, John Weiss in the Mobile 1 car. Then this fight still raging on for that fourth position between Jason Kutsia and Nathan Msamanga. Then we got Clinton Besaidnout coming through. He sits out there in that fourth position. Werner Zwart is on his own out there in that seventh place. He's 6.1 seconds behind Clinton Besaidnout. Who in turn is 3.8 seconds ahead of Sandro Bakari, but Sandro Bakari has got Jaco Steyn there with him. There's only 0.5 of a second between Sandro Bakari and Jaco Steyn, and they are 1 second ahead of the man that rounds off the top 10, namely Ines Botma.
Yep, Ines Botma done a brilliant job so far inside of the top 10, holding on to the highly acclaimed Jaco Steyn, the very quick recently Sandro Bakari. Herman Lazarus just outside of the top 10, but his problem's called Willem Pina.
Yeah, Willem Pina in the Castrol car, right all over the back end there of Herman Lazarus. And catching both of them, only 3.5 seconds behind them is Robbie Teens. It sits out there in that 13th position. We'll see Robbie Teens now as we focus on Willem Pina, who's trying to figure out how the heck he's going to get past that blue Audi of Herman Lazarus that's sitting out there just ahead of him. Only 0.5 of a second ahead of him is Lazarus, and he's going to either have to force Herman Lazarus into making a mistake or just dive bombing him somewhere. But he is right on the case there of Lazarus is Pina. 0.6 of a second, nothing between the two of them in that fight out there for that 11th position.
So Nathan Victor found it himself, it's my second word for the day, out onto the grass was Nathan Victor, pushing very, very hard. And, then another man that was having a bit of a problem was Willem Botha, finding himself running the car right off the circuit like that. And the computer saying, buddy, that's like way out. Nathan Victor thereafter had another incident, and definitely the car not doing what he wanted to do, getting himself right out onto the grass was Nathan Victor. And in the interim, it was Jason Kutsia that put the move there on Nati and Samangi. What a beautiful passing maneuver that was. And Nati and Samangi saying, well, if that's the case, let's just fight back. Nati and Samangi rides right around the outside. Can he do it? Yes, he does. Up the inside he goes. Nati and Samangi takes that position back. So some brilliant close driving between those drivers. And, what can I say? I think Nati and Samangi is probably going to be a good contender for driver of the day as they go out into the long back straight going down towards Hairpin Bend.
Yeah, well, and Samanga was trying to get past him all the time. He eventually got his nose ahead of him and then lost that position once again back to Jason Kutsia, that is bobbing and weaving down that long main straight. And Nati says, I'll have nothing to do with you bobbing and weaving all over that place. You need to move one spell and then hold your line, and that's not what Kutsia was doing over there at that point in time. And Samanga saying, do it right, or I'll just rub up the back of your bumper. And they know that they've got the Clinton Besaidnout right in there as well. But Ines Botma is right on the back end there of Jaco Steyn, who in turn is on the back end there of Sandro Bakari. And they are fighting it out there for P8, 9, and 10 at this point in time. And not too far behind them, the fight for 11th and 12th position is there between Herman Lazarus and the Castrol man himself, Willem Pina.
Yeah, Willem hasn't had much success in terms of top 10 and top 5 positions for an extended period of time. Probably find that his work commitments is just not allowing him to get as much time in as what he wanted. I think Ines Botma has probably got one earphone listening to the drivers and one earphone listening to us and saying, how can you say you don't know who I am? Let me show you what I'm actually capable of. Steyn moves towards the outside. Botma goes with him. Steyn having a last gasp look there to see if he can make a plan on a Sandro Bakari. Sandro in completely different colors to what we're accustomed to seeing. And look at that battle, as you said, just behind them. Herman Lazarus just ahead of Willem Pina. But can you believe it? There's just 1 minute and 15 seconds to go. Nati and Samangi has not given up on Jason Kutsia.
Well, that fight's not done there for that fourth position, because trust me, believe me when I tell you that Clinton Besaidnout is on the move. There was one time that he was 5.4 and then 5.1 seconds behind Kutsia and Samanga. He's now only 3.2 seconds behind them. With a minute left to go, I don't think that Clinton's going to get involved in this fight for P4 and 5. between Kutsia and Msamanga unless they take each other out. But Botma, in turns, got other ideas with Jakustein ahead of him, and Lucas right there behind the Botma now. It is the combination of Lazarus and Pina.
Well, I think that Ines Botma actually had the opportunity to go up on the inside there of Jaco Steyn. Steyn got it pretty wide as he went into a hairpin corner, and then backed out of it and said, I'm not going to take a chance and mess this one up whatsoever. So on his last lap, it's 10 seconds to go. He's going through turn number 3, and I do believe that there's nothing much that's going to stop Byron Mitchell. What a brilliant ride by Byron Mitchell. What's changed? I have no idea, but he has just lifted himself ahead of the pack and said, cheers boys, I'm out of here.
Yeah, Byron Mitchell, he's got Ati Nagel ahead of him to put a lap on, but I don't think he's too worried about Ati Nagel at this point in time. He knows that this is his final lap, and he will see the checkered flag. Familiaris is comfortable in that second position, and Weiss is comfortable in that third position. Kutsia is not comfortable in that fourth position, as we wait to see Byron Mitchell greet and meet the checkered flag.
Well, this is pretty much the last complex of corners through the hairpin, down the dip, double right-hander, use the curbstones and more, keep the hammer down, feather it slightly, turn it in rather late, use that curbstone on the outside. But let's go back to the man up front, Byron Mitchell. And I tell you what, Byron Mitchell must be so proud of what he's been able to achieve in this race.
There's the main straight. Then the checkered flag will come out and greet Byron Mitchell as he comes home in P1. And he will win this one by the proverbial country mile over Julian Familiaris, that finishes 6.1 seconds behind him in second, and 4.4 seconds behind him is Jonty Weiss in third. And Jason Kutsia has done just enough to claim that fourth position, just ahead there of Natim Samanga, followed there by Clinton Besaid, not 5 seconds behind him, Samanga.
Up, Werner Swart coming through in that 7th position. He'll be pretty chuffed with that one, I'm sure. Another good race for Sandro Bakari. Welcome into the top 10. Ines is pretty happy that the lights have changed, because look at that behind him. Jaco Steyn, Willem Pinaar, Herman Lazarus, all of them are right in there. Robbie Teens being a lap down already. Only other man coming through still to come up towards the line is this man, Willem Botha. And Willem used to be there and thereabouts, Frankie. Somehow just not on the pace of late.
Yeah, well, he's going to end in 15th position and a lap behind everybody else. I think it's only the first 12 or 13 cars, if I'm not mistaken, that ended this one on the lead lap. Not working out for Willem Botha. His best was a 138.6 and his last lap was a 139. So, yeah, not all well out there for Willem Botha. And yes, as I said, the first 13 cars ended on the lead lap.
Before we run through that final race result for Touring Car Challenge round number 4 for the 2022 season, and the new season going to be starting in 2 months from now with a massive sponsorship from a major corporate company in South Africa. In fact, go and have a look on the necessary Facebook pages, iRacing South Africa. You can see there's a competition that's on the go there for the unveiling of that new sponsor. Frankie, driver of the day?
My driver of the day certainly must be Natim Samanga, but I don't know too much about Werner Swart, and he ended there in that 7th position, so he'd be a nominee, but my driver would certainly be the man that ended in P5, Natim Samanga.
I think a brilliant drive by Nati, but Byron Mitchell, well done, bud. That was your best to date, no doubt about it. He's obviously enjoying this series and running it right at the front. So Byron Mitchell from Julian Familiaris, Jonty Weiss rounding out the top 3, Jason Ironman Kutsia from National Polo Cup racer, Natim Samanga rounding out the top 5.
And my bad luck of the day, I'd split between Yuri Swart and Dario Busi, because sure, it couldn't have gone any worse for the two of them.
No doubt about it. Rounding out the top 10, Clinton Besaid from Werner Swart, Sandro Bakari, Ines Botma. Welcome to this form of racing, Ines. Nice to have you with us. And then Jaco Steyn making himself in the top 10.
Yeah, Valentina are just out the top 10, followed by Herman Lazarus, and then the last man on the lead lap in P13, Robbie Teams.
Well, yep, that was about as good as Robbie could get it. Atinachel, Willem Botha, Nathan Victor. Oh, he also had his fair share of bad luck and dropped out after that incident with Umpi Swart and Dario Busi, not managing to do much in the scoring of decent points for this one. So that was round number 4, the Touring Car Championship. A massive big thanks to Jaco Steyn for putting this series together. As he said, it's going to be a test round. Let's see how much interest there is, and then we will go big with it. And a big, big thanks to the Big Five that have made it possible for Secondary Productions to bring you this type of quality of live streaming Monday through Sunday, sitting in your own home and enjoying the best of iRacing in the world as it is today. What a brilliant program. What a brilliant opportunity to enjoy motorsport without massive, massive costs every time you eat something that's standing still. Speak to the likes of Mick Schumacher. They'll tell you what it's like when you're doing 170 miles an hour and you eat something that's standing dead still. Frankie Innes, last word from your side.
Yeah, then you break the horse in half. Yeah, last word from my side. It's been exactly what we thought it was going to be. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Absolutely amazing. Well done there to Byron Mitchell. Well done to Julian and John T. Weiss. That is your podium. And we look forward to seeing you soon for I Race Somewhere. It's going to be an amazing year that is lying ahead of us for iRacing.
From myself, Gary Fleming, and Second Gear Productions, good night to you, one and all, folks.